Got it. All right. You guys, when I was totally inspired by a podcast that I listened to this week, and it was like talking about what is actually harder. And talking about excuses that we often make, and sometimes the thing that is more familiar is what we choose versus what the thing that when we look down the road 5 years, like the thing that probably takes a little bit more discipline is actually the thing that's going to get us where we want to go versus the thing that's like warm, cozy, and more familiar. And so I was really inspired by this, but I have to preface this with y'all. I need your grace. I need y'all to see where I'm going with this so we can discuss along those lines. And also, I almost felt like it looked sarcastic a little bit as I was making these. You'll see what I mean in a second, but like as I was making these, it is very, very clear, black and white, like this is what you should choose over this. And I did not mean it that way, but literally it is that black and white in my head, and I couldn't figure out how to do it less black and white. So you're gonna see what I mean in just a second. But before I move to that next slide, I want to tell y'all this. For a very long time, I resisted a lot of scary things. In fact, I did that for a whole year. If you went and talked to my sponsor, she would tell you that I never watched a training video, that I never picked up a book. She would tell you that I was not a very great customer business builder of hers. I even told her at one point, I am not going to watch a video longer than 5 minutes because I don't have time for that. So don't send them to me. Like, what a terrible excuse that is, right? So knowing those things, y'all, but I didn't know where I was going. I didn't want this business. I was just choosing what was more familiar because that seemed easier at the time. But you guys, over that next year, I signed no one up. So was it really easier to stay in this fuzzy, like warm and cozy comfort zone? No, I felt comparison. I felt all these things. I felt like I was a failure. So I didn't want to touch network marketing because I was like, well, this doesn't work. But y'all, I wasn't working. So we're going to talk about these. If I can get my thingy to work. All right. So which one is actually harder? Doing IPA every day, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, but doing it consistently every day or 5 days a week, or just doing IPA sometimes, or waiting to do your IPA till the last week of the month. Which one is actually easier? And if you would want to unmute and tell me why you think one is easier over the other, give me some grace. You know where I'm going with this. Tell me. Haley.
Did you call me?
Oh, you unmuted yourself, so.
I did. I was about to talk, but then I was like, oh, wait.
Yes.
Okay. I think IPA daily is easier because I'm somebody that works really well with like 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 15 minutes, you know. But what I was doing at the very beginning, I was kind of like that. I was like, I'm not watching a video. I'm not doing this pyramid scheme. No, I'm going to get 3 people and I'm going to be done. And I was really uncoachable for a little bit, just a little bit. But doing it sometimes I feel like it's so much harder because then I don't know where to start. And if I just do it every day, it's much easier, in my opinion.
And I agree. Doing it sometimes for me, honestly, whenever I try to get back into it, it feels heavy. And I feel kind of dumb. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know how to get started again. Guess I'll go send some birthday messages. You know, I just feel really out of my groove. Okay, what else? What else do y'all think?
For me, I noticed that my confidence, I think someone just said this in the chat too, but like I noticed that my confidence literally like grows exponentially when I do it daily. And even like I've been trying and failing, but trying to take the weekends off, totally failing. But even on Mondays when I get back into it, I feel like, okay, I gotta go. And it's only been 2 days off, you know? But by like Wednesday or Thursday, when I'm like really, really going, my confidence is just like exponentially, like I send some really bold messages. Whereas if I do like take a day or 2 or a week or whatever off, I'm like totally not confident. Like I'm like, oh, do I reach out? What do I say? So I think Jennifer said that too in the chat.
Yeah. Any other feelings around this? And y'all, when I say daily, like there have been seasons in my business where I would make sure that I got 5 hours of IPA in, and I would chunk that into a 3-hour section one night and a 2-hour section another night, because Zach was going to be gone because he coached. And so like, I knew I'd be able to do big chunks. So I'm not saying like chunking it like that is bad. I'm just saying like the consistency of it, you know what I mean by that. So what else? Anything else on that one? Why doing IPA sometimes right now may seem easier because it takes less time, it takes less discipline, it takes less bravery because you're sending less cold messages and you're sending less messages to scary people. It may sound like it is easier, but in the long run, I can promise you it's not, because I've been there. I've done that. I've tried that, and I was wrong. Okay.
Joe, can
I
I
have
add
something I can, oh, sorry, go ahead, Tay.
Marissa,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm on my phone. I can't see like anything. Something that I noticed is when I do my IPA, can like sometimes instead of daily, I start to see other people have wins that I'm not having, and then that starts to affect my confidence, because I get into like comparison mode, and I'm like, oh, I suck. Everybody else is recruiting and I'm not. When in reality, it's because I'm not doing the things. And so that's something that I notice.
And
Yeah,
that to
mine
me-
kind of goes like along with that. I mean, it's when I'm not doing it, I don't have very many people to talk to. Like, and then I feel like, crap, this kind of sucks. Like, like I'm feeling frustrated with myself because I'm not seeing the wins in what I'm doing. And like, I'm kind of a person, like I'm really motivated when I see some wins. I think most people are like that. So, yeah.
So what I love about this, you guys, is don't just sit there and be like, oh crap, that's me, they're talking to me. Okay, that's great. Like, use this as an awareness tool of like, okay, well, I'm feeling those things, and they just told me about something that can help me get out of that funk. I'm going to go implement that because they've been where I am, and I am going to make a change. So I want to encourage you with that one. Okay, here's another one. I really love this one. This one might be my favorite. Which one is easier? Staying inside of your comfort zone or doing scary things? Which one is actually easier?
Something to get us out of this trap.
I'm going to tell you my thought. So living in my comfort zone is more familiar, but kind of like what Taylor just said, when I am comfortable, I'm usually comparing myself because I see other people growing and they're on fire and their posts are super inspired. And I'm over here in my comfort bubble. I'm not doing anything out of the ordinary, anything scary. And I don't have a lot of inspiration because I'm just doing the same thing over and over, staying on my like hamster wheel of comfortability. And I become far less inspired. But the moment I go do something scary, I become inspired. I have a post, even if it may not even be a Plexus thing. It could be joining a mom's night out group on Facebook and going and doing a paint party with somebody, with them. Like, that gives me inspiration. It gives me out of my norm. So anyway, that is one way that is really played in my life and in business. What else can y'all think of? And anyone can share, y'all.
This just makes me think of a conversation I recently had with Marissa and Carly. And Carly was asking for advice on like wording a post or whatever. And she's like, it makes me feel really uncomfortable. Like, I'm super nervous to post this. And both Marissa and I, like at the same time, are like, then that means you should do it. You should post it. Because that means that there's going to be somebody on the other end of that to receive that and be like, oh, that's exactly what I needed to hear today. So definitely doing the scary thing, it impacts more people around you, you know?
Hmm? I don't believe you can, and y'all, I feel like that's a biblical principle, to be honest. Like, even in the Bible, you read all throughout, especially the Gospels, when they were just super bold and doing these very bold things. And I know network marketing is not discipleship, but or it's not equal, but I'm just saying, like, it is a biblical principle to do bold things and to have big faith and to have discipline. And so I love this one for many reasons. Okay, now Is getting a no or never starting the conversation harder? I have something for this one, but I want y'all to share first. Which one is actually harder?
Never starting the conversation for me, because then that person's probably always on my radar. I'm always thinking about them. And if I never start it, I'm always going to be thinking about the what if. And even if I do get a no from starting that conversation, I'm building a relationship with them. So definitely never starting it for me.
And what's going to happen most likely if you don't start the conversation, Jordan?
Nothing. It's like Michael Jordan talking about you miss 100% of the shots you didn't take.
Yeah. And then somebody else is going to take the shot. And they're probably going to join somebody else. Y'all know how many times I've had a girl on my list that I know has lupus and I know played college basketball, and it's like this like perfect. I'm like, their story would be incredible. They would be awesome at this. Like, I just know. And then I'm like, but I gotta wait. I gotta love on them a little bit more. I gotta build that relationship just a little bit more. And then boom, they start posting about their not pink drink. And I'm like, crap. So that's happened so many times. I would personally rather get a no. What else?
I have one to share on this, and it's kind of along the same lines. It's not reaching out, it's reaching out and then not following up. I remember the first time I ever reached out to somebody because I really, really thought that they would do great with Plexus. And then I just didn't follow up with them. I don't know what the reason was. Maybe I forgot. Maybe I just was in a million other messages. I don't know. But then a couple months later, I saw that she was actually talking about her pink drink. And I was like, what in the actual heck? And then she started like working the business. And ever since then, like that has always stuck with me. And it kind of goes back to the whole thing. Like, if you're not going to continue to reach out to them, then like, don't even talk to them in the first place. And so, yeah, that's mine.
Y'all, getting no's are hard. But 5 years down the road, which one is harder? Because I look at girls like Taylor and all these girls that I reached out to. And because you do this scary thing, you create this culture, this time freedom, this thing, because you did the scary thing. I would much rather do the scary thing and get rejected than never try. Okay, learning the virtual office and comp plan on your own and really understanding those, or just relying on your sponsor for that info. And let me tell you a quick story, okay, before you answer this one. Because some of y'all are like, well, I'm not learning that comp plan. That's a lot of numbers. I get it. So when I started, I did not, like my sponsor would actually send me the comp plan videos. She would send me the things and she would be like, hey, like, tell me which bonus you think which one are you going for now? And I'm like, I don't know, you tell me. Like, I was so stubborn, y'all. You'd be thankful. If you would ask Cassandra and you were like, which one's harder, having Jordan on your team or not? She would be like, I don't know, because Jordan was pretty difficult her first year. But I just remember really pushing that. Like, I just went to her for everything. But you guys, what happened when I was on a one-on-one call with somebody to coach them, and they would say, hey, how many points do I get for this order? Or what if I do this, what would my bonus be? And I didn't know the answer. And I was like, okay. But it happened over and over and over again because I never took these skills and just learned them. I constantly was just getting the answers from my sponsor. So anyway, that is an example of how that has looked for me in my business. It's given me confidence to have more conversations, and more bold conversations. And it was a process. I probably didn't learn this till I was like Ruby, which is kind of embarrassing to say. But I did learn it. So anything else on this one?
I have something.
Yeah.
I felt like once I finally got a grip on the virtual office, I no longer like avoided it, and it actually ended up being a huge tool for me, especially in ramped up months and just really in the beginning with retention, like great customer care. It's what I relied on to do those things. And I think had I avoided it, and really pulled away from that, which could have been really easy for me to do because my sponsor is Katie Burns, who like knows the VO so good, and I could have literally just ride on her coattails for so long. But it's like, exactly, she's not always going to be available, and that's not like it's not her responsibility to run my business too. Like, so I just it gave me so much more confidence to be able to get in there each day and be able to work from it when we weren't on, you know, Zooms together. And like I could maneuver and I could figure out what was going on with the people that trusted in me to sign up with me. So it just gave me a lot of confidence, and it was a huge tool. Just in, yeah, a huge tool, big bonus.
Marissa, can I piggyback off of that? I think that relying on your sponsor is easier, but relying on your sponsor will never lead to growth. And if you're relying on your sponsor, then you're not growing, which means that you're not going to feel comfortable and like adequate leading your team. Like you're not going to feel good about leading them because you're not going to feel like you know the things. And so I think staying in your comfort zone is relying on your sponsor. I think going out there and learning it yourself is growth, and that's going to be harder, but in the end, it's easier.
I just wanted to add too, this goes into that conversation of like business ownership versus being just like a hobby owner. And just to relate it to like, if you really truly owned like a brick and mortar store, like you would have a routine, right? Where you like turned the lights on and you logged into your POS system or whatever it was, right? And you knew how to check people out to buy things, right? And so it's like, if you were avoiding that and someone came up to buy their cute sign of yours, and like you're like, oh sorry, I can't actually sell that to you because I don't know how to use my system, they would never come back, right? And so if you are avoiding that right now, like the good news is like you can't ruin it. You can't ruin your virtual office. So like dive in, dig around, click on things. Like that's
If
how
you
I
could,
learned
I
it.
would have already ruined it, just so y'all know.
Right.
Like I would have already botched the whole thing, not tech savvy over here.
Yeah. And that's how I learned. And now, like, I can't imagine not having that in my back pocket. I use that as a tool to be like, girl, you're only one away from this rank up, or blah, 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 blah. Like, it is such a big tool. But the cool thing is you can't ruin it. So, like, if you are avoiding that and it does feel hard, go explore, like, go check it out.
Yeah. I have a quick question for y'all before we move on to the next one. Has anybody here ever felt comparison? Like you compared yourself to somebody in our October thread because they earned their Nikes and you're like, I haven't earned it yet. Man, I guess I'm not on her level. Or maybe it's a rank or a point goal, or maybe it's I don't take as good pictures as her. Anybody ever been like in comparison mode of somebody? Okay. My question to you is, if you are in that comparison mode, are you doing what we've been talking about? Are you doing your IPA every day? Are you doing your own trainings? Are you diving into these skills like learning the comp plan? Okay, because typically what I see is that whenever you are not treating this like a business and you're just like one toe in, that opens up so much room for comparison, because you're comparing yourself to people who have both feet in. They're in it every day. And you can't compare that. And so if you are at a pace where you're like, listen, I'm not I don't want to be Emerald. I'm just here to like, I would be really happy with like senior gold, and that is awesome. But you are not allowed to compare yourself to someone who wants to be diamond, because they are doing different things than you are. Okay. And so that was one of the things I really wanted y'all to take away from this, is that you get to choose your own speed. And I love that about what we do. But comparison is a massive tool of the devil. And I just want to break it open. I just want to have that conversation. So, okay, I think we have one more, maybe we have two more. Okay, is working. Oh, I do like this one because I have done this. I know Jordan Gibson has done this too. Is working for a goal and missing it the last day of the month, or never pushing for it in the first place harder. Has anybody ever pushed for a goal and you missed it by like an inch? 1 order, 2 orders, 10 orders, whatever it is. Anybody ever pushed for a goal and you missed it? I know there's more. I don't see, you put it in the chat so I can see it, because I can't really see y'all's hands. Yeah, anybody? Y'all, it could be silver, it could be gold, at whatever rank you pushed all month for Nikes and you added 2 and you missed it. Okay. Would you have rather pushed, been consistent all month long, and you grew your business, you grew your belief, you grew the amount of people with product stories on your team in the process, but you missed the goal? Or would you never want to have started in the first place? Because newsflash, I'm here for the next 20 years. I'm not here for October of 2022. I'm here for the rest of the entire time Plexus is going to have me. And I am going to celebrate every inch of growth. And if we miss a goal, that's fine. We're going to do it again. We're going to go for it again. And we're going to keep going for it until we get it, because the surefire way to not get it is to quit. And I don't know if y'all know this or not, but we have a culture on our team of not being victims, and we just don't really quit. We don't really quit that easy. We figure things out. We pray about it, we figure it out. Pray about it, figure it out. So that's just what we do here. And so I love this one, because look, you see how many people over here have missed their goals? And every single one of them have entered the arena again to do it again, to figure it out next time, to learn from their mistakes. Anybody else have something on that one?
I do, but I seem to be talking a lot tonight. I'm not really sure what's going on.
It's
Right.
fine. I mean, it's because you have a lot of experience with these.
I have a lot of failure. That's what it is.
Yes, exactly. We both do.
Right. I was just like looking in my back office, and I literally looked at July of 2020, which was the month that I was pushing for Ruby. And we were moving, and I remember sitting on a stair in my house, working my business while trying to pack up boxes, and my movers were there. It was chaotic. And we ended the month with 416 points, but I was like, it's fine. Like, I did everything in my power. We're just going to do what you said, get back in the arena, try again next month. And in August of 2020, we like flew past 500 points and ended at 617. So like, that's just like the perfect example of it. Like, you go for it, you miss it, it's fine. You try again, and then you blow past it next month or the month after that or whatever. Like, anyways, I'm done.
Because you're not here for the one rank. You're here for the next 6 ranks. What's up,
I have
Katie?
things to say. So Marissa, she has baby there, but she pushed for senior Ruby, and we were up at midnight, you know, like on a Zoom together, me and Jordan and I think Cassandra and Marissa, and it was like, Marissa's like, I mean, it was, I think, I can't remember how short you were, but it was like maybe 5 or 10 orders, and we're like, Marissa's like, I don't want to like not organically do this. Like, I could get all these orders and one time, whatever. And she's like, I just don't want to do it. Right. And that was in February. And then in March, she went senior Ruby like on the 20th or something and ended over 1,000 points. So it was like the same thing like Taylor said. But the other thing that I wanted to say is we can fall into this sometimes like victim mindset when you like miss it, or like I missed sweeping a contest because I used SAM 2020 on a discount, right? And it didn't make me earn it, right? And I could have said, this is corporate's fault, corporate sucks or whatever, you know, like you can, people do that, right? And like, but instead I was like, well, my bad, like I shouldn't have been that close. Like I'm never gonna not talk about it because it's still like, you know, I'm a contest, like I like that. But it wasn't corporate's fault or corporate's incentive fault or whatever. It was like I shouldn't have been that close. But I see that. And so I think it's so important to be aware of that and like reflect on like, it wasn't so-and-so's fault for not working their business this month with me or whatever. Like it didn't happen. And now we get back in the arena and we just go again, you know? So I think it is like so important to like be a victor and not be a victim in these cases.
Yeah, is Noelle on here? Are you on here? I'm about to look at participants. BRB. She's not. Okay. She said something in our October thread yesterday, and she was like, I don't know if I can make those power hours. And I was like, hey, I know you're a problem solver. I can't wait to see how you figure this out. And then she popped back up and she was like, you know what? I just changed out my calendar. I'm going to be on 3 of these and I'm excited about it. And I was like, that is it. Like, that is the culture of our team right there. It's this idea of not being a victim and just being like, hey, listen, this is important to me. I'm going to make it happen. Okay. So this is a paradigm is just basically a way of thinking. And you guys, culture has really shifted a lot of paradigms for us. The way of thinking is like, hey, be comfortable, live in scarcity. Like there's a lot of things that culture tells us is normal. And I love that we get to decide what is normal. And so I liked this part. I just said, like, the things I think are easy are actually hard, and what I see as hard are actually easy. Because there's a book, it's called Get Over Your Dang Self. And basically she says, looking down the barrel 5 years from now, if I'm scared to death of what I see, whether it's financially, whether it's who's surrounding yourself, maybe it's a relationship with you and your husband, whatever the thing is, if I look in 5 years from now and I'm like, I don't know about that. Y'all, I challenge you to look at your Plexus business. I'm gonna stop sharing. I challenge you to look at your Plexus business and say, okay, is this an excuse to why I shouldn't be doing this? Like, or is it a reason for why I should be doing this? How many of your problems can this help? I know for us, something I never expected was this to help my marriage. Anybody here are like, okay, how's marriage Plexus? Like, how's that work? But Plexus sent us away on our very first trip away from our kids. And I literally believe that trip saved our marriage. And it's also made us do personal growth. So we communicate better now. And it introduced me to the Enneagram. And now I know lots of things about Enneagram 9s that I had no idea about. And I realized that we speak 2 different languages. And so anyway, lots of things have been so helpful for my marriage. Y'all, and even some of your husbands, like they talk all the time. Like, anyway, so I challenge you to whatever excuse it is that you're like, I don't know if this business is the thing. I don't know if I have time. I don't know if whatever it is. I just challenge you to flip it and see this as maybe a reason to do this. Maybe if I don't have time, maybe when I'm Emerald, this will offer me time freedom because I'll be able to have a housekeeper and I can hire a nanny. You know what I mean? Just see how doing this, you can use this as a reason to get out of whatever the thing is that's hard for you right now. Okay, that was all I have. I knew I wanted tonight to be about 30 minutes, and because I know it's the end of the month, but I just want to encourage y'all to not stop. I did not sign anyone all month long. It has been almost 5 weeks since I have signed up an ambassador, y'all, and then I have signed up. I'm signing my 3rd tonight, and I did all of that in 48 hours. So you tell me that, like, should I have quit? No, I shouldn't have quit mid-month because I still wasn't there. So I'm cheering all of you on, whether you're going for 1 ad, 2 ad, 10 ads, whether you're going for a rank, a point goal, or whether you're just here because you love this community. Like, I am cheering you on. We love you. And we will see y'all November 1st. Hey, Tuesday, our first call in November, we have a special guest, and she is a diamond. She is on the advisory board. And she's incredible. And I really want y'all to come hear her story and her tips. So plan for that one. See y'all later.